Hello and welcome to the first episode of my The Last of Us Faction Survival Guide. In this video we will be covering the first of three game types, a team deathmatch inspired game mode called Supply Raid. Supply Raid is a game type that functions almost identically to the standard team deathmatch modes you will find in many multiplayer titles. Teams of 4 face off against each other with the goal being to score more kills than their opponent. In addition to their initial spawns, both teams will have 20 additional spawn tickets. Once your team's tickets run out, you can no longer respawn if killed. While this structure should sound incredibly familiar to many, The Last of Us does throw a couple of twists into the formula. First are the red supply boxes littered around each map. These boxes are scattered about the map, often in open and dangerous areas, and can contain crafting items, parts, and weapons. The next change up is sudden death. When a team runs out of spawn tickets, the game will enter sudden death mode. The minimap will briefly highlight the location of enemies, refreshing every 5 seconds. If both teams are in sudden death mode, they will both be exposed on the minimap. When only one member of a team is left remaining, the surviving player will enter last man standing mode. To give the player a fighting chance, they will instantly be rewarded with a boost in parts that can be spent on ammunition, armor, or weapon upgrades. If they are able to reach a red supply box, they will be rewarded with ammunition, parts, crafting items, and crafted weapons to increase their chances of survival. Like all game modes in The Last of Us, teamwork is absolutely essential in Supply Raid. Playing as a lone wolf puts the odds greatly against you, and decreases the likelihood of your survival dramatically. Sticking near teammates and working together can give you the advantage over another team if they are fragmented, or keep the odds even if they are working together as well. Additionally, by staying near teammates it will make it easier for them to revive you should you be downed, saving a ticket and putting you back in the fight immediately. A large part of The Last of Us is managing your crafting items and spending parts efficiently. In Supply Raid, I would recommend spending your points on weapon upgrades rather than armor. Armor will often be destroyed when you are downed, and constantly repurchasing it drains you of parts rapidly. It does become incredibly effective if your team enters sudden death mode, as it gives you an increased margin for error that can save your life. In contrast, weapon upgrades are unaffected by death and provide additional ammo, larger magazines, and an increased rate of fire. This will give you a leg up on killing your enemies. Finally, it would be smart to avoid sprinting as it gives away your position on the minimap. This is a recommended tactic for all game modes, but you can get away with sprinting more in Supply Raid since you are able to respawn if killed. That said, doing so would be playing with fire and could cost your team a respawn ticket. Supply Raid is a good starting point for newcomers to The Last of Us. It is the closest thing to Team Deathmatch, refreshing the classic game mode with a handful of twists that make it feel unique. It introduces the core concepts of stealth and crafting, and the emphasis on teamwork in a familiar game type that can be accessible to anyone. In Factions mode, there is strength in numbers, and Supply Raid is a prime example of that. Thank you for watching this episode of my The Last of Us Faction Survival Guide. Join me next time when we cover Survivors, a round-based game type that old-school SOCOM players will adore.